Every global empire starts with a quiet moment of absolute desperation. In the cold winters of 1960s Brooklyn, survival was the only daily goal. Watching a father break his body for minimum wage leaves an unerasable mark. It teaches a young mind that ordinary paths often lead to dead ends. Every exhausted step, every unpaid bill, and every sacrifice silently shaped the future of a boy who refused to accept the life he was born into. Through biting winds and bleak concrete sidewalks, a relentless ambition began to form. Books and education became the only visible tickets out of poverty. While many children dreamed about tomorrow, Howard was already thinking about escape. He wanted more than a paycheck. He wanted a future where dignity could never be taken away by a single accident or an unfair system. The raw machinery of the working class grinds endlessly. It forces a burning desire to never stay trapped at the bottom. Every difficult day strengthened an invisible promise inside him. One day he would build something different. One day he would create opportunities instead of waiting for them. A single letter changed everything. A college acceptance was the first crack in a life built on heavy limitations. Far from the endless noise of Brooklyn, northern Michigan offered something he had never truly experienced before. Space to think, room to grow, and the belief that impossible dreams could become real through relentless effort. What Howard didn't realize was that this small victory wasn't the destination. It was only the first step toward a journey that would eventually transform the global coffee industry forever. Stepping into the corporate arena meant selling appliances by day, but dreaming infinitely bigger by night. Every phone call represented another opportunity to learn, another chance to move one step closer to a future that still seemed impossibly far away. Howard quickly discovered that success in business wasn't about luck. It was about understanding people, solving problems, and earning trust one conversation at a time. Every phone ring carried the weight of a potential breakthrough. In sales, hesitation is the enemy of progress. Long days turned into even longer nights. Yet every meeting, every rejection, and every small victory quietly shaped the businessman he was becoming. He wasn't simply building a career. He was building the mindset that would later change an entire industry. Late nights beneath towering skyscrapers weren't about surviving another workday. They became an education far beyond any classroom. Howard studied how successful companies operated, how leaders made difficult decisions, and how ordinary products became extraordinary brands. Every lesson was stored away for a future he couldn't yet see. Sometimes greatness hides inside the smallest everyday rituals. One customer kept ordering an unusually large number of coffee machines. That single detail refused to leave Howard's mind. Curiosity replaced routine. Instead of ignoring the mystery, he decided to investigate it himself. That decision led him to a small coffee company in Seattle. At first glance, nothing about it looked revolutionary. But within those walls, surrounded by the unmistakable aroma of freshly roasted coffee beans, Howard sensed something that numbers and sales reports could never fully explain. Without realizing it, he had just taken the first step toward the opportunity that would redefine his entire life. That small company was Starbucks, hidden inside Seattle's historic Pike Place market. It didn't look like the beginning of a global empire. There were no massive crowds, no billion-dollar branding, and no worldwide recognition. There was only an extraordinary passion for coffee that Howard had never experienced before. Before it became an international empire, Starbucks was simply a place where carefully selected beans, expert roasting, and genuine craftsmanship came together. Every employee spoke about coffee with pride. Every customer walked in searching for quality rather than convenience. Howard immediately sensed something that numbers and sales reports could never measure. This company wasn't selling a drink, it was creating an experience. Soon afterward, a single flight across the Atlantic completely changed his vision. Landing in Milan opened his eyes to a culture unlike anything he had ever seen. The historic streets of Italy revealed that coffee was never treated as a simple commodity. It was a daily ritual that brought people together. Watching skilled Italian baristas prepare espresso with confidence and precision became an unforgettable experience. Customers stood shoulder to shoulder, laughing, talking, and building relationships around the coffee bar. Nobody rushed to leave. Coffee wasn't the destination. It was the reason people connected. At that moment, Howard realized America wasn't missing better coffee. America was missing the experience that surrounded it. Every cup carried conversation, belonging, and community. The idea was simple, yet incredibly powerful. Standing quietly inside those busy cafes, Howard knew he wasn't just looking at Italy's coffee culture. He was looking at the future of Starbucks. The real challenge, however, would begin when he tried convincing everyone else that this impossible vision could actually work. But before that dream could become reality, Howard would have to risk everything he had built so far, Every dollar, every relationship, and every ounce of confidence would soon be tested. The greatest challenge of his life was only beginning. Escaping the biting winds of Michigan, Howard Schultz returned to the towering concrete skyline of New York City with a college degree, relentless ambition, and something even more valuable: a determination to build a life completely different from the one he had left behind. The harsh lessons of Brooklyn had taught him that hard work alone wasn't enough. If he wanted to change his future, he had to think differently. The corporate world became his next classroom. Joining Xerox, Howard entered one of the most demanding sales environments in America. Every rejection became another lesson. Every successful deal built confidence. Inside polished glass towers and crowded meeting rooms, he mastered the art of communication, persuasion, and leadership. He learned how to read people, earn trust, and close impossible deals. From the outside, everything suggested success. The tailored suits, the promotions, and the steady paycheck painted the picture of a promising career. But deep inside, something refused to settle. Howard wasn't searching for a better salary. He was searching for a purpose. Then fate quietly introduced itself. Thousands of miles away in Seattle, a small coffee company named Starbucks kept ordering an unusually large number of coffee machines. Most salespeople would have ignored it. Howard couldn't stop thinking about it. Curiosity became impossible to ignore. Walking into the original Starbucks store inside Pike Place Market became a life-changing experience. The rich aroma of freshly roasted beans filled every corner of the room. Coffee from Sumatra, Kenya, and Ethiopia wasn't displayed as merchandise. It was presented with passion, respect, and craftsmanship. Howard immediately sensed something numbers could never explain. This company wasn't simply selling coffee, it was selling belief. At that moment, a powerful intuition took hold. Starbucks wasn't destined to remain a small neighborhood coffee roaster. It had the potential to become something far greater. Howard didn't simply want a job there. He wanted to help shape its future. Convincing the founders, however, would become his first great battle. They saw a successful coffee bean business. Howard saw the beginning of a global movement. He saw the inevitable. That belief became even stronger during a business trip that would change both his life and the coffee habits of the entire world forever. Stepping into the vibrant streets of Milan felt like stepping into the future. Coffee wasn't treated as a quick morning routine. It was woven into everyday life. Cafes overflowed with conversation, laughter, friendship, and community. Watching Italian baristas prepare espresso with extraordinary precision became an unforgettable revelation. Customers didn't rush away carrying paper cups. They stayed. They talked. They laughed. Coffee created relationships. Suddenly, everything became clear. Starbucks wasn't missing better coffee. America was missing the experience. Italy wasn't selling espresso. Italy was selling connection. Returning to Seattle, Howard passionately shared his vision with the Starbucks founders, but they couldn't see what he saw. Rather than abandoning the dream, he founded Il Giornale and proved that people wanted far more than coffee. They wanted a place where they truly belonged. When the opportunity to purchase Starbucks finally arrived, Howard risked everything. He mortgaged his future, trusted his instincts, and committed every ounce of belief to a vision almost no one else could see. That single decision transformed a small Seattle coffee company into the foundation of a global empire. The siren's call had finally been answered. And Starbucks was only getting started. But for Howard Schultz, buying Starbucks wasn't the finish line. It was the beginning of an even greater responsibility. He understood that opening coffee shops would never be enough. Every new location had to deliver exactly the same feeling he had discovered in the cafes of Milan. Every customer had to feel welcomed, respected, and remembered. Every barista had to understand that they weren't simply serving coffee. They were creating moments that people would carry with them long after leaving the store. That philosophy shaped every decision the company made. Store design became more than architecture. It became an invitation to stay a little longer. The sound of fresh beans being ground, the warmth of handcrafted espresso, the friendly conversations between baristas and customers, and the comfortable atmosphere all became essential parts of the Starbucks experience. Howard believed that people weren't returning because of habit alone. They returned because they felt something that was becoming increasingly rare in modern life, a genuine sense of belonging. Many people saw only coffee cups in storefronts. Howard saw something entirely different. He saw thousands of small communities growing one customer at a time. Every satisfied guest represented another relationship built on trust. Every successful store proved that the vision born inside the cafes of Milan could thrive on the other side of the world. The risk had been enormous. Every decision had demanded courage. Every setback had tested his determination. Yet each challenge only strengthened his belief that extraordinary companies are never built by following the crowd. They are built by people willing to imagine a future that others cannot yet see.